Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Me Driving to Work. I am your host slash chauffeur, Darkness 30XX of the Black Hood Crew. Name is there in the corner where you can follow along at YouTube and Facebook, Black Hood Crew. And then my name on Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Trovo, where I go live. This is all simulcast. As well as TikTok and Instagram, where I post regularly, semi-regularly, other stuff. Can't go live, but we'll get there eventually. Right off the bat, you can pretty much tell I'm not wearing my sunglasses because the sun is nowhere to be found. It is currently raining here in sunny South Florida, and it's dark enough where I do not require my sunglasses in the least. In fact, there's people driving around right now with their headlights on because the sun nowhere to be found. So it is Tuesday, June 7th of 2022, and I'm on my way to work. So, quick follow-up to what I was talking about yesterday about the absolutely dreadful drivers that we have here in South Florida. Not once, not twice, but on 3 separate occasions, people running red lights. And not even like it just turned red. I'm talking about it's a full red and they just blew right through it. No sense whatsoever. Now, again, this was the middle of the night. You know, like I said, usually when I'm on my way home from work, it's about 12:45-ish in the AM when I'm usually on my way home. But that still doesn't give anybody the right, under any circumstances, to drive like, again, the rules of the road, the signage, the lights, the street lights do not apply to you. That's not how this works. Because, again, all it takes is for it to be one time. Blow a red light and that person just trying to get home from work or maybe even from the club or whatever, you know, and you blow that stop sign, you blow that red light, and next thing you know, you've killed somebody. You've killed someone's mom, someone's dad, someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's cousin, someone's family member in some way, shape, or form. You may not know them, but somebody does. Do you really want to be responsible for something like that? So I sure as hell don't. Instead, I will, as I always have, obey the laws of the road. Red means red. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The lines on the road are not suggestions. The signage are not suggestions. They are meant to inform as well as direct and literally instruct people on what they're supposed to be doing. Speed limit signs, not suggestions. They are the law. Hence why people get speeding tickets all the time. And it basically comes down to your willingness to not be so self-centered. Just follow the rules of the road. You'll still get to where you're going. You'll still get there in a timely manner. but most importantly, you'll get there in one piece. And that's the most important thing, is getting there in one piece. Dude, there's a sidewalk. It exists. Anyway, it's not a suggestion. Get to where you're going, get there safely, and the only way you can really do that is if you maintain vigilance and follow the rules of the road. Blowing stop signs and red lights, doesn't matter what time of day it is. Not cool. Not cool at all. Swerving in and out of lanes, not using your turn signal, which again is more of a courtesy thing, but it's mostly a safety thing. Because again, you have to alert other drivers. Hey, I'm going left or I'm going right. Switching lanes here, switching lanes there. Let them know. Because you cannot see into the future. You cannot predict how another driver is going to react or how they're going to act in any given situation. By giving them a signal, a turn signal, you're indicating to them that you are making a planned move, whether it's turning left or right or switching lanes left or right. That tells them, hey, I plan on doing this. If you are planning on doing anything, please rethink it as I plan on doing this. You're letting the other driver know with time that you plan on making a particular move, that if they make the incorrect move, you'll both be in an accident. So, use your signals. Let people know what you plan on doing. Because again, it comes down to mostly being a safety thing, but also being a thing of consideration to other drivers. Because the signal's not for you. If it was, the lights wouldn't be on the outside. No. The signals, the turn signals, are for other drivers. That's it. They're not for you. So instead, use them. And for those of you that think it's perfectly okay to think that because of the kind of car that you drive or your status, maybe the amount of money you think you have, it all means absolute jack squat when you're hunched over your steering wheel because you got into a car accident. Yeah, you look very cool in that mangled BMW. That Mercedes torn in half. That fiberglass death trap known as a Lamborghini torn completely to shreds. Yeah, you look real cool in a messed up car. Don't be that person. Do not be that person. Instead, be the kind of person that gets to every location they're going and they get there in one piece. Now, I'm not saying drive like a little old lady. Don't drive, 15, 20 miles per hour under the speed limit. I'm just saying, drive the speed limit, maybe 5 over, and just keep your head on a swivel, always looking around, use your appropriate signals, and obey the signage. That's all I'm asking you to do, literally the bare flipping minimum. Because it's when you don't do the minimum that problems occur. That's where the shortcomings are. When people refuse to do the bare minimum. In this case, the bare minimum is just obeying the signage that already exists, obeying the lights, the signs, the lines, the rules of the road, the laws of the road. Just obey them and use your turn signals. That's it. Not that hard. So, as I pretty much imagine as it sits right now, given the fact that it is currently raining, it's not a downpour, it's not a torrential downpour. You can kind of see out the window right here. It's not overly crazy, the weather right now, but there is no blue sky right now. It's all just gray clouds. So, yeah, are people going to be driving a little bit more cautious? That's a given. What I don't want happening is people driving like they forgot how to drive, like it's their first day, just because it started to rain. Because that seems to be a growing trend among people, and I have no idea why. Where for some god-awful reason, the second it starts to rain, everybody's driving experience, whether you've had a year, 5 years, 10 years, or God, you've been driving for 30, 40, 50 years. All that experience immediately goes out the window. And suddenly you're driving like it's your first day after getting your license. Like, I don't know what's up with people, man. The laws didn't suddenly change because it started to rain. Yeah, it became a little bit more hazardous, but if you stay within the speed limit and drive with just a little bit of caution, you can still get to where you're getting to, even if it's a torrential downpour. Believe me, I know. I've been behind the wheel where visibility is pretty much non-existent. I remember one time I was driving on a highway, and the only reason that I was able to get to where I was going and be able to see through what was essentially a typhoon at this point was there was an 18-wheeler in front of me, and it had those lights. You ever seen them? Those lights that border the back of the truck where the doors are. This was a transport truck, so it was hauling goods here and there. And I just happened to be behind it, and the only reason I was able to see anything was because of that, and being able to see its brake lights. The lights around the border and the brake lights allowed me to see where I was going, how close I actually was. Yeah, I couldn't see anything. If it wasn't for that truck, I could not see how far ahead of me the next car was. That's how bad it was. Thankfully, that truck's driver decided to opt for brighter lights and definitely had his headlights on because the brake lights were on and I could see. I could actually see. And it was good. It was good. So yeah, if you plan on driving here in South Florida, please, knowing full well that it rains here, do not drive like it's your first day. Drive with some sense, not nonsense. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Drive with some sense and not the nonsense. Because the nonsense is the slowing to an absolute crawl after the first drop of rain. Even with near infinite visibility, you still still drive like you can't see 2 feet in front of you. Instead, just drive with a little bit of caution, but still drive with some sense. Because I don't know about you, but if it's a torrential downpour, or even just raining, regular rain, if driving with some sense will get me to my destination quickly and safely and get me out of that rain, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive with some sense and make sure I get to where I'm going so that I can get out of the rain. Because personally, I don't like being out anyway. I go out because I have to. Because I have certain obligations that are required of me and my physical presence to be at certain places at certain times. But if it wasn't for that, I would stay the hell indoors 24/7. Nothing interests me about the outside world at all. I don't go out of my way to just go places. If I go anywhere, it's with a purpose. It's with a sense of, I'm going for this reason and this reason alone. Anything less than that, not happening. So that's what I do. Drive with some sense and get to where you're going. Just like me right now. I may be talking to you and occasionally glance over at the screen, but I am actively paying attention to the road. The rain has subsided a little bit, so my speed is picked up a little bit. I can see farther now. Even though before I could see very well because it wasn't like a torrential downpour. Visibility has always been good this entire ride so far, so I'm still driving with plenty of sense and keeping an eye on people around me. A lane or two over, left or right, making sure that people are driving and that they're driving with enough sense to stay in their own damn lane, just like I am. Because again, I have no intention of hitting anybody here today. I don't want to get into an accident. So please have some sense when you're behind the wheel. Because it's not just your own life, your own well-being that you put in danger whenever you get behind the wheel of your car. This goes for everybody around you. You are taking other people's lives, their well-being, into your own hands when you get behind the wheel of a car. It's not just you. It's not just the people in your car, but for everybody around you. So instead, drive like you have some sense. Drive like you're. Drive like you are responsible for someone else. Because in reality, you are. You are responsible for the other person. Now, you're not responsible for their actions. You're only responsible for your own. But if you make it a habit of driving recklessly without any sense, you are now actively taking the life of another person, possibly someone you don't even know, into your own hands. Needlessly. Really, it's needless. Drive with some sense. Drive like you are responsible for someone else's life. Because in the end, you are. You are. So, Starting to get off the highway now in the exit lane. Okay, on the off ramp. Only a couple more minutes till I get to work. So I'll let you know when I get there. You'll see when I take my seatbelt off. But still, almost there. And again, I made it safely, almost safely. Not almost safely. I'm almost to my destination safely. Just a few more moments, and I'll be where I need to be right now. Because again, my presence is required. And thus I have to get up, make myself presentable, so I can get to work. And that's what I have to do. That's what other people have to do. So, do it. Do it with some sense. Get to where you're going. Do it in a sensible fashion. So that you can fulfill the role that your presence requires on that particular trip. Because if I'm not required anywhere, I'm not going to go anywhere. I have plenty of stuff I can do at home. Plenty of things I enjoy doing at home. So it's not going to kill you to just think for a moment. Do I really have to get up and go? Do I really have to go out? Do I really have to get behind the wheel of a car? Do I really have to drive anywhere? Because if you don't, it's perfectly fine staying home. With access to streaming entertainment on multiple platforms, I'm pretty sure you can fill an entire day with stuff to watch, stuff to learn. Maybe that's something that you want to do. Take the time to learn, to gain a new skill. Doesn't hurt, right? Perfectly fine staying home. With the advent of like Uber Eats and Grubhub and all these other delivery services, you can essentially stay the hell home, but still get stuff done from the comfort of your own home, from the comfort of PJ pants or no pants if that's what you want to do. But if you have no reason to be out, don't. Now, if you have plans, hey, meetings with friends here, we're going to do this and that or whatever, okay. But again, that's a trip with purpose. A trip with a destination, with said plans. I'm mostly talking to the people who just hop in their car and drive just for the hell of it. We can do without. We can do without. We don't need people like that on the road. One, because that's another car on the road that honestly does not need to be there. Two, you're wasting gas, your own gas, which right now is stupid expensive. And three, you're needlessly putting your own life and well-being, as well as that of others, in your own hands for no reason whatsoever. If you have no reason to be out, then don't be out. It's not going to kill you if you don't go anywhere for a day, an afternoon, or whatnot. It's not. It's not going to kill you. So obviously I've arrived and got to start making my way in. Glasses, get my work badge on, So we're gonna go ahead and cut it out here. I've been your driver / chauffeur, Darkness 30XX of the Black Hood Crew. That's BHC_Darkness 30XX, named down there in the corner. Follow along YouTube and Facebook at the Black Hood Crew, and then my name on Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Trovo, where I also go live. This is simulcast across all others, across all the others, all of them actually, and then Instagram and TikTok for my other shenanigans. So no streams for the rest of this week. I'm going out of town again. We'll be back next week for my usual week-long streaming. So until then, have a good day, have a good night, and be excellent to each other. Take it easy.